Okay, so I really been messing around with Drambo and wanted to come up with a workflow to be able to use my SP. Because one of the problems I've been having is typically when I'm on the iPad, I don't want to touch the SP, and well, I do, but I didn't have a real workflow for it. And then I didn't really want to. I wanted to put them together for some reason, and you'll see me a lot of times. I'll use. Sorry about this light glare, just in advance, but I want to be able to show you the area so you can see what's going on. But so I'm trying to block it with my head, I guess, um, so that you can see it. So what I'm trying to say is one of the problems always was one, I don't have a TX6, which because it's just ridiculously priced. And two, so when you see a lot of people with the OP1, even when I had the OP1 field, I would try to do it, but it's always some issue and needed a mixer and you needed this and you needed that. The SP kind of fixed a lot of the situations that I needed, so I could plug in directly now. With this recent update, it's been really working well, especially I've used it a lot in Ableton. But with the iPad, it was always a problem. So I showed you in a video some time ago. I'm going to try to find a way to make this work so you can see it. I showed you this little guy back over here. It's a field recorder slash mixer slash interface, and it's from Centrance, and it's called MixerFace. This is the MixerFace R4. They're coming out. They have a new one that's on back order right now that has 10 dB more gain. I think the preamps in it are a little bit better. And it has an SD card, micro SD card reader, so you could actually record on the go and things of that nature to the SD card, which is nice. They are all analog, so there's no screen, there's none of that going on. It works great with the iPad. It shows up just like any other system would. And so Drambo, a lot of Drambo stuff, Drambo is very much like the Octatrack in a lot of ways. And I've never had one, but from what I'm hearing from people and my research, because I actually wouldn't mind having one, it's very much like that. Of course, it's iPad friendly, and you have a lot more easier access to learning it because there's a lot more videos, I believe, on it that are. And the Octatrack, I think, is more complicated and a lot older too, obviously. So anyway, without giving you a whole history lesson here, what I wanted to do is come up with a way to use my drums and stuff from the SP and be able to still record into here. Or if I just want to do my whole song from the SP and I want to record it into Drambo and use some of the instruments and combine the workflow together, how could I do that? So basically what you see is the SP is running out with two quarter-inch cables, instrument cables, going into the MixerFace. The MixerFace has two channels, right? And then the monitor is what you're hearing, right? You're hearing the monitor. You see those lights light up. You hear the monitor going out through the headphones so that you can hear it on the... Now, I could do the balance, but on this MixerFace, they don't have quarter-inch balance. It's just, or quarter-inch cables to go out to the stereo. You have to use like TRS to the little 3.5s, right, to get it to work. I don't have those cables. Maybe down the road, if I get the newer MixerFace, I might be willing to invest in those cables. For now, this one is what I got. It is what it is, all right? But it goes micro USB to a USB-C, which is perfect. And you can plug it right into the iPad, and it recognizes it. So my workflow is like this, and I'm gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna name these tracks because I just started doing this and figured this all out, and I immediately was like, let me record it now while my brain can still remember it. Otherwise, coming back to it later, I might forget. All right, so these are gonna be hats. So like everybody, I want my drums, like most people, I shouldn't say everybody. I want my drums to be on separate channels and vice versa. So the Flexi sampler is the key to all of this, right? And what it allows me to do, so many things, but this is what I'm using it for at least, is if you set up a MIDI to CV channel and then I was thinking at first you needed an audio input. That's why you see one here, and you'll see if you touch it, it'll show you all the drop down audios that you have. It's recognizing the USB, right? 1 and 2, okay? So that's cool for a couple reasons. One, I always wanted to be able to play my my bass or my electric guitar into here, Well, now I think I figured out the answer to that too, because I can record through the SP, through my interface right into to Drambo using a flexi sampler. So here's the kicks. I'm gonna just show you. So just like I would do in Koala, right? You gotta, however you're gonna drum, whatever your pattern is, you gotta drum it in. Now I drummed in the kicks separate on this one. If you ever see me do it on Ableton, I'll drum the kick and the snare in. But what's hard about doing that on here is, well, if you want them separate, is you can't slice. You can slice. Let me check that out. You can slice them out. But the ideal to me is to have them on different channels. So I would have to make a copy of this, and then I would have to put it on both this channel and maybe the next channel if I wanted to do it that way, and then put my slices to slice out just each part. So you can do that, which is cool. You can go in and manually put in slices. I highly suggest, if you're on this little bitty iPad though, that you involve the pencil in it, because it is quite the job. And it's not hard. It's really not hard. It'll actually, if you hit edit on here, you can see you can set slices and move them, or you can even detect transient. And it does a fairly good job at detecting the transients. So you could do that and then delete the markers you don't need, right? Just keep the ones that's set for the snares. I didn't do it that way. I did it this way. But what I found out after I began was, instead of using the audio input, it actually has, when you go to the record section of it and you hit the monitor, there's a source button right here. So you just can plug that in and do the module. Now keep your MIDI CV, because you'll see down here I have one note in here. So it's triggered by that. And I'll show you why I like that. And you'll see it more with the snare, why you want to have it that way. I'll show you in just a second here. So I kept that to offset one slice. The kick is fine because the kick starts on the 1, so it's fine if it starts there. If you feel like you're not comfortable with that, you could always just detect the transients and then place the kicks in the order you want, if that's what you really want to do. I was fine with the other way, so whatever. All right, snare track. Now this is where you'll see I got multiples here. Now the problem with the snare is, when this thing is detecting the record in, especially if you're doing the snares by themselves, it's not going to detect the kick that's playing before the snare. It's just going to detect when the snare happens. So your first snare happens right there. And this is a place where you have to, if you want them on time, you'll have to detect transients, get all the transients for the for these snares. And I'll show you another trick I did. I think that will give some randomness to this, so that it's not just the plain, I mean, the kick is still what it is. And by the way, you could do this with the kick if you wanted to, or even the hats if you wanted to. But I recorded these in. You got to turn the monitor on. Always set, this is the key. Oh, I just hit remove. Oops, let me see if I can undo that. Whew, thank goodness. But I lost my transient, so you'll have to see me do it here. I think I did. No, I didn't do 8. Detect, there we go. So there you go, detect transients. Obviously I don't know. I mean, I could probably put this right here, just guessing, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. There they are. So, and I accidentally put in one note. What am I doing? So I moved my notes. That was intelligent. Oh, I added in an extra one that I don't need. I think that's right. That's so weird. Okay, so you'll, just like any other, just like the snares, you want to hit these snares where they actually belong. I don't know what I'm doing here. So I'm going to redo this in hopes that I have it right. I hit something and messed up a bunch of stuff. But anyway, so there you have it. So then, okay. So this is the snares. Let me go to the hats, see what I did here. offset. Okay, one shot trigger. Okay, so somehow let me delete this space. There we go. How did the hats? Well, this is weird. So somehow the hats, let me see if this is right. Somehow the hats got switched over. This shouldn't be like this. Okay, I'll have to figure out what happened here. Okay, so the snares are right. So okay, so this is what you got to do. So you pick the transits, so you got the snares. Then you go in here to the hats. So the hats are a little bit trickier, in my opinion. Oh, I know why. Because I had to undo because of that one. So with the hats, what I'm gonna do is I need to remove. You're gonna get to see what I was doing. So let me do this real quick. Go ahead and clear that out. All right, so I didn't use all of this, so I'm going to edit it. Watch, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to do one shot. And what I'm going to do is, what I need to do is trigger to see where I need to cut. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 1. Okay, I see it. So all I'm doing is counting. It is a little, like I said, it's going to be more work on some of the stuff like hats. Now, as time goes, this will get better for me. I'll learn little bits and pieces and I'll share them with you as I go. But the key is don't accidentally do what I just did. Whatever that was press the wrong thing. That's terrible. All right, so there we go. So I'm going to slice that down. And so now what you got to do is just see where the hats belong, like in this. So I like to place one marker. Perfect. So it's a 2-bar. Okay. So then you place 2, right, for the hats. Oh my gosh, I got to stop pressing stuff. So you press 2 for the hats. Because I knew this was 2 bars, right? Now, there's another thing you can do if you wanted to. You could drum in your hats. Like I drum in the hats here. By the way, in the SP, just so if you're wondering how I always put my hats, an open hat, on a mute group. So Shift 8 is the mute groups, and you just put these 4 pads in. They cut each other off. So you don't have to worry about a hat not, get over doing another hat or riding over another hat. All right, so there you go. So that's the hats, and you're done. Now you can add effects or whatever else you want to put on the back end of those things. But you do have, the one thing about here you do have to do is you have to save. So the best way to me to save in here, in my opinion, is go, let's say if you know what the song is going to be called, let me make up something off the top of my head. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. SP, we're in bank number 8, so we'll go SP. We're in project 8. POJ. I'm going to use PRJ, so I know that's project 8. Bank A. Boom. And what you want to do is it saves it to its local samples. Okay. Hit return. And then that's going to say, you'll see it save that file. And so you have to do that with each one. Same thing here. So you're going to go SP. I actually should have put what that was. That was kind of, I'm going to have to go back and fix that one. Project 8, bank A, and you got to put like snare or something there so you know what it is. Hit return. I'm going to go back to hats. Mind you, this gets save way faster. Project. You know what I didn't do? I don't think this, the reason why, I don't know if it's going to save. Hold on. I didn't save this project. First, save your project. So again, bank or not bank, SP bank 8, not bank 8, bank, it's project 8. I keep forgetting project 8. This is a new way I'm doing project 8, bank A. Okay, save with samples. Hit save here first. And I could have put the BPM. That would have been super helpful too. All right, now let's go in here and let's record. This is the snare. Let's see if we can abbreviate some of this. SPPJ8. I'm going to use PRJ. SP. I'm trying to come up with like a way, PRJ. That way, PRJ8. B. I kind of want the word bank in there. Bank A. I don't know. That's a lot. I'll work on it to get better at figuring out what it is I need to save or do. See, it's not saving it here. So I got to figure out why. Why is it not saving? Maybe it'll save for me automatically what the name is, but the problem is I really need to know what this project is or what this one is called. So let's see. Let's see. This is the part I don't know much about. I'm still learning. Okay, so that's what it's called there. If I go, let's see if we can let's just try putting hats. Okay, we'll go hats, we'll go return. There, it's called hats. All right, so it looks like it did do it on that one. So now let's go here. Maybe oh, this one is saved, snare, okay. But I don't want it to be hats now. Now I want it to be like the other one, so apologies for this. This is extra here, what I'm showing you, but don't worry, I'm not charging you. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, all right, so what are we naming this? So SP project 8 bank A. And this is called hats. There we go. All right, cool. Now the kick, last but not least. Let's rename the kick. So same thing. So I'm going to get myself a little routine. I'm big on routines for naming stuff so I can so that I can remember and I don't have to, this wouldn't take me as long if I already had if I had a method to this madness, I should say. Project Bank A. I'm just excited about actually being able to show you, and this is kick or kicks, whatever. Okay, so now go back up here and hit save again, and it should save all your files to that bank. All right, so you can see we got kick, we got snares, and we got our hats. This will go quickly, but I'm trying to explain it and show you at the same time, and I'm also trying not to get so many gosh darn glares on this thing. All right, so now you see everything and how, so this is basically the drumming done. Now let's say I wanted to do samples. Well, I could do the samples in here if I wanted to. I could do those in here, or I could start playing some instruments in here. If I wanted to add chords or whatever, I could do that or whatever. It just affords me an opportunity to be able to just use the SP. Now you might say, well, why wouldn't you? Well, first of all, I'm not a Cubasis fan at all. I don't like the workflow. I don't care for the app, and I'm not going to force myself to use it when I know I don't like it. I won't enjoy it. So this is for anybody that's a SP person that might want to use Drambo, might want to use the iPad or whatever. The idea is that you could save everything in the bank. You could do samples in here if that's what you wanted to do. For me, if I'm going to use this, I'm in conjunction with this, I'm going to be using it sort of like the interface. And by the way, you don't need this if you don't want to get yourself involved with another interface. You don't have to, because technically the SP is an interface. If I plug straight in, it should directly recognize this as well. Okay. I like this thing though, the MixerFace, because what I find is that when I plug sometimes directly in, the sound can vary depending on what I'm putting it into. But this new workflow is gonna be pretty spectacular. The fact that I can record in and make adjustments. So what I could do is, let's say I wanted to chop samples in here. I could bring, let me see if I got something in the SP I can bring in real quick. Or I could, you know what I could do? Let me show you something else we could do. I have some Keyscape, like one-shot samples in here. I own Keyscape, by the way, so I'm not telling anybody to go get no pirated stuff or anything like that. I actually own Keyscape, but these are just some one-shot samples for some pianos. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to load in a piano sample. Okay. So what you can do, exit out, is you can pick this one-shot sample, put it in chromatic mode. You could either play it on these pads. Not my thing. I'm telling you, I just can't. I don't know why I can't get it. This is all in C, right? And so what I could do is I could come in here. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I could come to the record. I'll set it up on the USB right there. Then I'll hit monitor. Okay. Instead of doing instant, I still like threshold. Okay. Let it record as far out as you want, right? Turn monitor off, hit record, you go back into here. Now you have, right? It's not super loud, so if you want to make it a little bit louder, you could go in and just go snap to 0, maybe normalize. I don't know if this was what you wanted to do. I would not put it on one shot if you're going to do that. I think slice is probably the better option. I'm not going to say this is the best way to do this, by the way. I would probably just use a plug-in and sample in, but I'm just saying, just showing you can bring it in. And I don't understand the MIDI to CV voices. I'm not really like super in tune with that, I don't think. But I did show in the previous video that you can, right, make a chord. It's kind of thin in my opinion. I don't think I would ever probably do this, but I was just showing you that you could do it in theory. This is, to me, it's better. Oh, I didn't even know that. So if you touch down, like, by the way, on there, you could actually save it that way. And you could hit the normalize. You could set the slices without even going into the actual sample. That's interesting. Learn something new every day. All right. So also, if you need to remove the sample, hit the record button and just hit remove or clear. I'm just do remove. It's fine. I don't tend to do this, so I'm going to get that out of there. But I was going to look for like a little sample that I can maybe pull in and just show you could chop a sample technically. But see, when you, the cool thing about having the iPad and this is that you could actually do the drumming here and then bring in the, you start using the instruments in here, which they work really well. And if you were comfortable with using the SP as a MIDI and you didn't plug directly in through, like I'm plugged in through here, if you just went straight in, you could actually use the MIDI capabilities from it if you wanted to. And yeah, that's what you could do. Or you could do sampling. So let's say you picked off some sample you like. I don't think I have samples in here because mostly I just keep drums in here. Let's see, maybe the count stuff I have. He's got a synth library. What's in there? Chords. I might use a, see, I might do something like that where you take a chord. Ooh, not that, but something like that. Let's put that in. So I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it says E. I don't really know what chord this is, but it does say E, whatever that is. I'm gonna take the gate off. I'll put the gate back on. But if you wanted to, you could do something like record. You could put this in chromatic, let's say. I don't have any samples in here, so I'm gonna go with this. All right, so then check it out. So this is how you record with it. So it's in here, you got your monitor on, and you're pretty much gonna hit your threshold, put your sync on threshold, and you're gonna play your beat, okay, in the background to give you something. Now if you don't have a beat, you can go up here and turn the metronome on and put the click in and set the click for always, I believe it is. Yeah, always. And then you'll have a click. So that's how I started with that. So I could have a click, set your pre-roll. The quantization thing is on, but you can turn that off if you don't want it. It doesn't matter. We're just sampling into this. So let me see if I can figure out what I'm gonna play. I think the SP can work great with samples like that, either chopping up chords that are already made versus making chords with it. I've seen people do it, and I never think it sounds good. It always sounds kind of, but maybe that's the point of it. I'm not sure. You have to help me on that one, because I don't know. All right, so maybe, you know how I like to use it, kind of like in Koala, is I like to put, I like to actually play my chords into it. I do that in Koala. I'll play like, okay, these are the 5 chords I want or whatever. And then I'll play the chords back in Koala. So that I know for a fact will work in the SP really good. So if you get like Scalar and you don't want to do all that setting up and trying to figure out how to do it in here, you could run Scalar into your SP and actually record those chords that you want, and then play them back on the SP, right? Just put them in the order you want them and put them on gate. The good thing about gate is it'll cut off when your hand goes off, but if you are still not comfortable with that, you could put them on one shot, but you need to put them on a mute group so that they mute the other one out and they don't ride into each other. But if you can learn to play it on with gate on, you can actually do some pretty cool stuff. So let's try something here. Again, I don't know if the main chord's in E. That's going down 4 octaves right there. So I'm just going to play off a sound, right? I'm not even going to listen to try to figure out what chord it is. All right, so here we go. So what you have to do is hit record. The threshold's on. We're going to hit play. Let the beat ride till you catch it. Hold on. Let me do something here. I want to set this for 4 bars, okay? Because I like to see what my bars are like when where I'm at on the bar, so I know when I want to start, okay? So here we go. So I'll let it go through 4 bars. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. Okay, so I do this all the time now, even Koala and all of it. I do an extra bar or extra chord, and the purpose is so that I know where to loop it or where to chop it, right? There you go. And that's pretty good. And then just leave it. Like I used to be that person who's like, I want everything to be, just leave it in case you make a mistake, and then you can always fix it. So now, just as a trigger, we're going to get out of here on the monitor, go back to this screen here, Flexi Sampler, right? And then we're going to, for the sake of just to figure out if it works, C2 is going to be your playthrough, right? See, it'll play all the way through. So you notice the loop in is set there because I changed the loop in. So you can do that on the dial. I choose to look at the sample when I do it. But if you got that ear, I wish I had it. Another thing you can do is chop these samples now. Let's say if you wanted to play random chords, you could chop in here and then just have it just play randoms across, okay? Hopefully I'm not blocking. I keep doing that because I'm gesturing, but I keep forgetting that lamp is up, or light is up there. All right, so let's see what it sounds like now. So we're gonna play. Okay, so the timing is way off. Why? Why is that timing off? I don't know if I just start hitting stuff, but I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna go redo it and see if I can figure out why the timing is off. So we're gonna go back to record. We're gonna remove, turn the monitor on. Oh, why is it going in? Oh, because it set the threshold. So even with it set the threshold, if you start hitting the buttons, there's no playing around here. This thing is serious. It's like I'm going all in. All right, so if you want to play around, just don't hit the record button. Okay, let's try something simple. Let's not make this complicated. We're gonna hit that, set the record, wait for it to go around. All right. So the last one was just so I'd have again, you already see me say it and heard me like a million times. All right, there it is. Click the X off. Let's see if it matches. It should match. I don't know why it's not. All right, so let's go here. Turn the monitor off, hit the record, and now we should start at the beginning. There we go. All right, let's do a trick now. So let's say you got that, but it's kind of boring you. You could, in theory, put each one on a pad by doing the same principle. So now we are going to, at this point, go trim, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go set slices, detect transients. It's gonna put, so you might see this where it puts all, and you're like, why did it leave the last one off? Maybe it didn't detect it, that's fine, it happens. Just throw it in. Use your pencil if you need to get it as close as you can to that transient. Sometimes even when it detects, it'll be a little off. That's okay. All right, exit out. Now try it. Now here's what we're gonna do. Instead of going offset, we're just gonna go here and go random. So it's gonna play random slices and it's gonna be triggered by here. So no matter if I hit C, watch. See, okay, so now let's put in, I like to go every 4, right? We're gonna drop one. Oops, that's too soon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on this last one, I'm gonna have it trigger a different one. Okay, so so try it now. This could be. See? That's what I'm talking about. Now that's the randomization I keep asking for in all these devices. Even the SP needs to have that. That's simple stuff where if you make chops and now the SP leaves the chop markers there, that you can have a button that says, I want to randomize it. So then if I want to pitch it, you can pitch, you can, slow the speed down. Whatever you want to do. Not with this sample, I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying. And if you say, well, I want to really just play it myself, I don't want the random, that's fine. Turn it off. You have your slices, right? So then you can just go in there and put the slices, play the slices on each one. So you can turn off random if you don't want it. But see, it'll play just that. So I think is it note that does it? Yeah. There you go. So you put it on note. So if you put it on note, it starts to slice by the notes. And it just takes the first 4 because that's all you have is 4 markers, right? Beautiful. All right. I still like the random. It was fun because then the song has, you don't know where it's going to go. It's going to trigger something random. So it's kind of, all the chords are the same. Well, not technically because you pitched them down on the scale, but that's okay. So now it still sounds, yep. And this is just one way of recording, but it's my favorite way because it's easy to get to what I really want to get to, which is being able to mix everything, do everything in one place on the iPad, and just use my SP with it. This really excites me for a lot of reasons, but yeah. So there you go. And I got to finally use chromatic, which I never thought I would even be using, but now I see a good way I could use it by just putting in one solid chord and then taking that chord and just playing, manipulating it. Oh, so don't forget, as we said before, go back in, hit save, change the name of this, SP project 8 bank A. And then you could put, I'd like to put key chords. I use that so much, but it's what I remember, okay? So you do whatever it is you remember. And there it saves it there. But every time you say, the thing with iPad or with this program to me, I found is that everything, even in Koala, save. Like after you do something, especially something like that, and you get it where you really want it, go back in and save it. Make sure when you save, also, like if you say, once you save as, make sure you say save samples. If you don't, it will not save them. So I'm going to turn that on and I'm going to hit save and I'm going to overwrite what's already there. So I want to make sure it's holding those samples in because if you come back, it might not be there. Oh, and let's name this one. We'll go here, key chords, whatever. All right. So now you have all that named. You know, you can still do the same thing I've shown before in the master effects. You can go in here, set up your master chain. In fact, if you really wanted to, in theory, you could go in and make a template for yourself with all this stuff set up so that you don't have to do this every time. It'll speed up your workflow if you're going to use this method. And I might actually make my own template. I can't make one for everybody because you might have the same chords, packs, whatever you got. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the same apps, I should say, is what I was trying to get in at. So I'm not going to be doing that, but that's on. Okay. But yeah, do this yourself. Set up, if you're getting into Drambo, get in there and set up yourself a template so that you focus more on Drambo and not on this portion of it. Because this portion is the same stuff I do in all my, actually I do this in Ableton too. It's the same thing. Okay, turn that to, I like mine up loud. There you go. So like that. And then now for bass, I don't think I'm gonna do a bass in here. I know people do the bass in here and you can bring in, I think I got some samples. Import, go back to the card. Drum. I think I have bass one shots, yeah. Well, I have a folder in there with nothing in them. And I wonder why. Partly because I like to record in live bass if I can. If I'm not going to record in live bass, I'll use the Trillion. I'll use Trillion with the audio layer. I have a sample in there I like. And one of my favorite basses I use all the time is a mute bass. So, yeah. But anyway, you can put your percussion, do your percussion parts in here too. Add that. And then your bank on that bank now, just leave all your samples in your SP and now that's for that song. Especially if you like the song and you plan on doing something more with it, which is the key. All right, so that's it for this video. It's went on 40 minutes. It shouldn't have taken that long, but I had a couple mistakes I made along the way. It's gonna happen. That's just what it is. I'm gonna finish out working here, just having fun. and you guys go do the same. Have some fun. I'm out. If you got any questions, drop them in the box. I'll be glad to answer. If you're getting an SP, awesome. MixerFace not necessary, but if you got one or you want one, check them out. They're pretty cool. You can find them used for under $200 now. I think new ones are like $450, $460, but you get so many more features on the new ones that are really nice. Yeah, so check it out. Oh, and all the new ones, if you're looking at the MixerFace, have USB-C now instead of the micro B to USB-C. So you get that feature too, and they work with the iPhone. But with the iPhone, you have to plug it in through the, and it has a battery built into it too. You have to plug it in via the camera kit. All right. So that is it, and I'm out.